Welcome back to another episode of Activist. I'm Gareth.
And I'm Jackie, and today we are super excited to bring you our interview with none other than Mathew Pritchard, aka Dirty Vegan.
Matthew came to the limelight as an MTV stuntman and general crazy person back in the day, but now he's an ultra athlete, he's a vegan cookbook author, he's a vegan TV presenter doing his cooking show. He's just an all-round top-notch bloke. He's my Welsh brother from another mother, and we also get joined by Lemmy, his fantastic little dog. So we really hope you enjoy this episode as much as I especially did.
You gotta love him.
If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, leave a like on the video if you enjoyed it, and if you learned something, drop something in the comments below. We'd love to hear back from you. So sit down and enjoy this,
Be entertained.
Be entertained with this pretty casual conversation with old Matt Pritchard. Hey Matt.
What's up? Sorry, I woke up and I jumped on my watt bike and I had an FTP test. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but it's full power for 20 minutes, and I haven't done it for years, and I'm absolutely dying. I've had a shower, so I'm in my robe in bed.
No worries. Oh yeah, so the Jackie's probably out walking Lemmy or doing something like that anyway.
Yeah, but Lemmy's by here now. Lemmy, come here. Who's this? Say hello.
Hello,
Oh,
Lemmy.
yay! Hey, Lemmy! Oh, beautiful.
Oh, unusual. He's got a ball in his mouth.
Oh, do you want us to do you need some time to get changed or anything like that? Seeing as it's a video one, I don't know if you cool being in your robe or if you want.
I don't give two shits, man. Christ, people have seen me in far worse states.
We are over the moon to have you with us today, the one and only Matt Pritchard. For any of our viewers who don't know who you are,
if you've been under a rock or something,
if you've been hiding under a rock and you don't know who the Dirty Vegan or possibly Dirty Sanchez is, can you just tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do?
Mathew Pritchard. I was a professional skateboarder to begin with, and then I sort of started working in the industry for Globe Skate Shoes, which, well, I know you're New Zealand people, but it's an Australian company. And then Dirty Sanchez happened, and then from Dirty Sanchez, I started sort of taking up fitness and exercise, and then I found veganism in 2015, and then I started a YouTube channel called Pritchard's Proper Vegan Cooking, and then the BBC saw it and they picked it up, and then we started Dirty Vegan on BBC over here.
Which is fantastic. We're so excited about that.
Show, basically.
So I must say, I've got some serious cool points interviewing you because I remember you very well from the Pain Men, and I've got two adult sons, and they're out, living their own lives, flatting and whatnot. And I said, you never guess. I said, do you remember the Pain Men? I thought they're not going to remember because they were quite little. They're like, yeah. I said, I'm interviewing Pritchard. They're like, no way. So yeah, you've made veganism seriously cool. But we've listened to quite a lot of interviews with you researching for this episode, and so you've spoken in quite detail about your past life as Pritchard, the skating legend, and you've been infamous for sort of being the life of the party and being really quite sort of quite mental really about it all, which is so today, however, we were planning to talk to Mathew, the man you are today, and although in saying that for our viewers, I can highly recommend checking out podcasts like the Sapnin podcast because your stories are hilarious. But what led you to become the dirty vegan that you are? I love your story about how you became vegan, and I think it would be great to share with the viewers.
I used to be a very big meat eater, and I was your usual meat and veg, or fish and veg, or whatever it may be. And I went to college straight from school to study to become a chef. So I've always enjoyed cooking. And, you know, I was there for 2 years. Had a bad experience when I left. So I sort of just left the industry. But, you know, I was always interested in cooking in the house. And I suppose once I got into fitness, when I get into something, I get into it. I really go in head first, and I want to know everything about it. And yeah, I just started. Somebody said, look at Cowspiracy, and I watched Cowspiracy on Netflix. No, I didn't know. So all I knew about veganism was vegans. They don't eat meat. And they don't eat dairy or anything to do with animals. That's all I knew about veganism. And then as soon as I saw Cowspiracy, I was like, wow, there was so much more to being a vegan than just not eating meat and dairy. And it was shocking and really opened my eyes to what is going on in the world. And I was feeding that by eating meat and dairy and I was contributing to the all the hell, which it is hell that's going in the world, especially for the animals. And as soon as I watched that, that was it. I didn't. Next day I was vegan straight away. I just said, well, I'm gonna go vegan. I mean, my brother did as well, and then that's where my journey started really. And then it was like, right, what do I have for dinner now? And so I sort of started researching food and recipes and ideas and all that kind of stuff. And then that sort of brought me, I started really enjoying cooking again. And they just started from there really. And I just thought, wouldn't it be good to do a YouTube channel of me cooking vegan stuff? And because I used YouTube to look for ideas, recipe ideas and stuff when I turned vegan, and I just noticed a lot of the vegan ones were really dull and drab and boring, and I just thought, hang on, I just saw a market here. I thought, with me being who I am, and I thought, let's make veganism fun, let's make it cool, and let's have, you know, basically giving something to they can turn onto a vegan channel and have a bit of a laugh, and at the same time get some good ideas for food. So that's why I started the YouTube channel really, and it was really fun doing it. I don't know if you've seen it, but I get dressed up in God.
Definitely. No, it leads really nicely into the next question actually, but yeah, we've definitely seen it.
Yeah, because Jackie and I, we put out a cookbook ourselves, and that probably wouldn't have happened if it hadn't been for you, because we went vegan about 4 years ago as well. And at the time, yeah, you just sort of started up with doing your the Pritchard proper vegan cooking, and used to love watching you on YouTube as well, because I'm Welsh originally as well. I grew up in the Brecon Beacons in a little village of Bull, and yeah,
I love the Brecon Beacons.
Yeah, like, oh, I love it. My cousins, they grew up in the valley, so they've got the proper Welsh accent. For me, I know by the end of this interview, my Welshiness will be coming back. But yeah, like, so you really helped to inspire us, you know, to get into doing the cooking and stuff. And like, I wonder, were you the same as me when you first started out, you know, and you're like, I used to take the piss out of vegans a lot because I was a big carnist as well. I was a big meat and cheese eater, you know, like, were you the sort of same, like, before you went vegan, it was sort of like, who are these Muppets?
Yeah, I think everyone is really. Because because my sister-in-law, my brother's wife, she was vegetarian, and of course me and my brother were big meat eaters, and we used to take the mickey out of her, going, "Oh, you hippie," and all that kind of stupid stuff, and guessing meat don't use the usual rubbish. And yeah, so yeah, I was, but it's funny, isn't it? You look back and I'm just so far from that person now, especially once you've educated yourself to what is actually going on in the world and what happens to animals and what goes on in slaughterhouses and farms and this and that. It makes you, well, yeah, it's just a case of waking up, really, isn't it? Yeah. I've woken up, I've become older, I've become wiser, and I've educated myself, and I'm far happier for it as well.
Absolutely, yeah, I couldn't agree more. So I actually, in a previous life, I've been in New Zealand almost 30 years now, and when I came over, the first thing I learned to do was milk cows, because that was living the dream. That was the clean, green, you know, old MacDonald and that kind of thing. And it's, you know, having been on that, yeah, so much worse. Like you say, when you watch something like Cowspiracy or anything in yeah, being able to vouch for that, it's just so much worse than anybody imagined. It was, you know, I saw stuff that was way worse than I ever contemplated or even thought about. So, you know, we yeah, definitely turn around. But you know, you've mentioned in interviews about you know, where is the line between a dog and a cat, or a pig and a cow when it comes to food? And we've had the pleasure of meeting Lemmy already this morning, which is awesome. Your lovely dog. And you know, I know he's a huge part of your life. And how instrumental was Lemmy when it came to, you know, your shift of your mindset? You said you watched Cowspiracy, and I understand he had a bit of an important role as well.
Yeah, well, he did, because I mean, he's my mate. He's my best mate. And you don't eat your best mate, do you? But you know, I look at Lemmy. I look at him, and I can see him now behind the camera, and you know, I thought of killing him, or seeing somebody kill him to put him on a fire and eat him. It just, well, it ain't happening. So why? And everyone looks at their dogs the same way as well. So what? You know, I don't know where the cutoff point is, and who said that you can have them as pets, but then you eat them. It's, you know, they're all animals. They all have feelings. And they've all, you know, I look at Lemmy. He knows who I am. I know who he is. If I'm sad, he knows when I'm sad. He knows everything about me. So the thought of eating him is just, nah. I mean, even when I ate meat as well, I used to look at lambs in the field, and I used to love lambs, the way they used to just jump around in the field, and they just look so cute and stuff. And I just thought, oh, well, I eat that. And so even when it was a meat eater, I sort of felt a little bit guilty seeing lambs, because I love the spring. It's my favourite time of the year. It's when all we get loads of great food, really fresh food, salads and all that kind of stuff, and then the lambs get born as well, and everything just sort of comes alive again. And to see those lambs, and yeah, I even felt guilty back then. So I mean, turning vegan and seeing animals for what they are, really, dog, cat, parrot, whatever it may be, to me, they're animals, they're friends, and they're not food. And they won't be food for the rest of my life.
Oh, wow.
If I could, I'd love to have a farm full of the bloody things.
maybe that's the next big Pritchard adventure then.
Well, yeah. I mean, we have got something in common: New Zealand lamb and Welsh lamb.
Yeah.
But we'd have them for friends. We don't. Yeah, you know what I'm saying.
Well, there's actually another thing that comes across with the New Zealand lamb and the Welsh lamb. Both of us get taken the mickey out of having relations with the sheep. You know, both the Kiwis and the Welsh both get the same jokes thrown at them. So,
shaggers.
Yeah, the local leisure centre, as they call it.
Oh God, I heard that one before.
Where's your wellies? The edge of the cliff and all that rubbish. Yeah, we've heard it all before. We shag them, you eat them, all that. Yeah.
But so like when you went vegan, did you have any other mates who were in that lifestyle, or was it just you and Lemmy when you first started out?
Did I have any vegan friends? I don't. It's a good question. I can't remember. I might have, but I mean, as soon as you go vegan, a lot of your friends go, "You are? You've gone vegan? Oh, you were right, or what?" Just a lot of people. Obviously, people knew I was doing stuff like Ironman and all that, all the triathlon stuff and the long distance sports. And they said, "Well, I wouldn't go vegan if I were you. You're gonna be really ill." And I mean, obviously, clearly they didn't know, and I was. It was a complete opposite. I felt much better in myself for being vegan. I felt lighter. I felt I had more energy. My swimming, my cycling, my running times were getting reduced, and I was just like, hang on a minute, I'm onto something here. And especially when you sort of when I set challenges like 30 half, because that same year when I went vegan, I challenged myself to 30 half Ironman in 30 days, and everyone was like, whoa, so you can't do that on a vegan diet, you're going to be so ill. Luckily, my local vegan restaurant, Anna Loca, which is literally 5 minutes from my house, Adam, he said, I'll sponsor you. So he said, after every day you finished your half Ironman, you'll come into, well, I went into the restaurant, he'd cook me food, so I'd have a lovely vegan spread, fill myself up, go home, sleep, wake up, repeat. So I had a vegan diet for the whole 30 days, and I felt absolutely great. And from day 15, I was actually getting faster, not slower. So I think I proved a lot of people wrong then, and I didn't want to prove them wrong in a nasty way. It's just I wanted to prove them wrong so they can make them think and go, oh, actually, there's, he's onto something here, and sounds like a decent thing to do, not just for the animals, but for your health and the environment and everything. So yeah, it's all good.
Absolutely. And like Gareth was saying, like, we were so excited when we first went vegan, and we were just like you, going on YouTube, seeing what was around there, and then you just started your YouTube, and we were like, oh my god, because we were like, geez, that is so cool. Like, it was because like Gareth, I mean, we used to have like 500 grams of cheese in a pasta bake for two kind of thing. So he was like last person we ever imagined. So to see you up there doing it as well was like brilliant. We're like, yay. And so Dirty Vegan, he's pretty clean living these days, but for a long time you had that reputation for sort of being anything but in your Wildman days. And do you think, like I said, we were so excited to see you, up there doing it. Do you think that's been a great sort of door opener for you to get people who would normally never even be seen dead doing anything vegan to actually learn about it through you and even consider it as well?
I mean, if anyone knows my background, if anyone knows me really is being me and what I've done, and if they see that I've gone vegan and it's helping me. Obviously, nothing's affected my life from being vegan. If anything, it's enhanced my life. And so, from people looking in, from this guy who was just full on crazy all of the time to being fit and healthy. Don't get me wrong, I still have my mad moments, once in a blue moon, especially when I've done a lot of hard work, a lot of hard training and stuff. I like to let myself go a little bit, but nothing like what it used to be back in the day. But as much as I think the word's called balance. I didn't know what balance was back in the day, but I've got a nice little balance now. So do my hard work and do a lot of training and eat well, and then I have a little blowout and then go and start again. But I mean, I'm fit, I'm healthy, and I was quite the opposite at one point. And I've always said fitness is just so important in life. If I didn't have fitness, I'd be in a right pickle, because I mean, even this morning, getting up this morning, the thought of jumping on the bike and doing a 20-minute FTP test, going full blast, sweating my ring off. I just thought, I don't really want to do it, but get off your ass, get on the bike, get it done. I mean, I come off the bike, I was almost dying, but then now I'm high. I'm just like high as a kite, but it's a natural high. It's your endorphins and everything. So that's how important exercise is. If you start your day with some kind of exercise, it doesn't have to be a stupid 20-minute FTP thing. We'll do what makes you happy, like go for a walk, maybe go for a swim, or go for a run, or go for a bike ride. If you start your day like that, then that sets you up for the whole day. And it puts a smile on your face, gets your endorphins going. And then if you carry on the day then by eating good, healthy, vegan food, absolutely brilliant. You mean on the weekends you might treat yourself to a bit of vegan junk, like we all do. A nice processed vegan burger, bosh. But yeah, again, it's that balance thing, innit? I mean, some people have a whole food vegan diet 7 days a week, and some people sort of have the odd day here and there where they have a bit of processed food and stuff. But you do what works for you, and just try and live as healthy and as happy as possible, really.
That's brilliant. Yeah, like we definitely know that with the balance, because yeah, even with things like doing like the raw vegan, we try to follow whole foods mainly, but you know, still when you're out and about, you got to live a little, and like especially with the raw thing, you know, having a little bit of cook just for that bit of comfort as well, and everyone's got to live a little. But do you still feel a bit of pressure from some people to be the old Pritchard at times, or is it just you know, you just put them out of the mind?
No, I don't really go into those positions anymore. I don't put myself in those positions anymore. But I've got a rally coming up in September, which is Amsterdam to Ibiza with a load of the gumballers, and I think Pritchard's going to be released at some point on that rally. I'm just going to be honest, but you know, we've been on lockdown now since March the 30th, and I mean, it's just a great way to go and see all your friends again and celebrate, have a few drinks, and sort of let your hair down a little bit. Because you know, on lockdown, I've been training a lot. I've been doing as much as possible, really, to keep me entertained, to keep my mind entertained, keep Lemmy entertained. Luckily, I mean, I only live in the house of my own, so but of course Lemmy's here as well. So without him, it would have been even worse. But I just can't wait to go on that rally and join everybody, have a laugh. Yeah, Pritchard might make an appearance for a little bit, but hey, it's only a 7-day trip, and then we will be back to normal when we get back home and back on the program again.
Oh, tidy. So we touched on this a little bit before, but so basically you were told by the school careers lady that you couldn't be the Hollywood stuntman that you wanted to be. And so you decided to take up catering, and then of course you had your bad experience once you stepped foot in the industry, and then life took you way off course, took you somewhere completely different, which sounds wonderful. But can you tell us a little bit more about how, you know, veganism really relit that fire for cooking within you?
It was finding alternatives to what I because everyone's like, you know, how would you make a vegan mayonnaise without using eggs, and how would you you know, and then you got, how would you replace meat, and then you've got Satan and Satan and you got there's just loads of stuff, and using different foods and alternatives to make these things similar. It's just, I just find it really interesting, and I'm still to this day finding new ways of doing stuff, and I think everyone's coming up with and like what to call it, meringues and stuff, and to find out that you can make meringues from chickpea juice. I was just like, yeah. But it's this so temperamental. I don't know if you've tried it yourselves, but it really is temperamental. Aquafaba.
I've had a couple of aqua failures, yeah.
aqua failures, yeah. But I found out why the best aquafaba is, if you look at the tin of chickpeas, the older the date is on the can, the better the aquafaba, because it's given more time from the protein from the chickpeas to go into the juice. And it's the protein which makes the meringue better. So the younger the chickpea can, the harder the aquafaba is to make. But the older the chickpea can, the better the aquafaba.
I was hoping you're going to bring that up, because when I was researching you and I saw a clip where you're saying about that, I was like, why haven't I heard that before? That, like, hopefully that helps a lot of our bakers and stuff out there today.
Yeah, I mean, you can make mayonnaise out of aquafaba as well. It's just, who would have thought that you can get so much more out of a tin of chickpeas?
For sure. I tell you, yeah.
I do love Chickpeas. There's a shop called the Spice of Life. It's been there since the 80s. My mother used to go there. Gareth and his wife run a family-run business, and it's just the best shop ever. They've got all the health food stuff. And I went there on lockdown and bought myself a huge bag of dried organic chickpeas, and you've got to soak them in water overnight with some baking powder and stuff, soften them up, and then boil them. And I thought, I'm just going to make some proper hummus. And I de-skinned every single chickpea just so I could get a smoother hummus. Oh, and I tell you what, it was worth it. I was dipping away like a right good and lovely jubbly.
That's devotion. Only in lockdown, eh? You got time to do that.
Exactly, yeah.
I think that's some of the old Pritchard, the glutton for punishment coming out, I think.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at things like a challenge, like there's like, got 1,000 chickpeas there, you've got to DC them all. Yep, cool, give me it. Let's go. Start timing yourself in.
Yeah, it's one way to pass the time anyway, isn't it? So do you find that, like the first thing we found when we started cooking vegan, that, when we were eating meat, we used to stick to the same old recipes all the time. You might sort of about have half a dozen or 10 at the most that were just on this rotation. Shepherd's pie on Wednesdays, roast on Sundays. I mean, we still have Sunday roast, but we just, have vegan Sunday roast. But, our repertoire is so huge now because we're just always learning. Like you say, always finding new things that you can do. Is that the same for you as well? It's just constantly, you're just always trying new things. You just keep growing.
Yeah, I mean, over lockdown, I haven't really been that posh as far as food's being concerned, to be honest. I've kept it pretty basic because, I mean, I normally my local store is Waitrose, and all the staff and everyone are really cool in there, and I'm pretty much in there every day. I'm one of those people that likes to go into the shop every day and do my shopping rather than once a week. So I get quite friendly with all the staff, and as soon as lockdown happened, the queues were going for miles, and I haven't really been going in there for that reason. So there was a Tesco store just down the road, a smaller shop. So I'd go in there and just buy basic stuff, really. I mean, I was having just pasta and baked beans. Well, it is what it is. You just got to make do, and that's what I did. So I haven't really been that flamboyant when it comes to cooking over the last 2.5 months. But yeah, I know what you're saying. I don't really go for much meat alternatives either. I try and keep it pretty. I won't eat that much seitan and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, there's plenty of stuff out there to do, isn't there?
Oh, for sure. I think we'll let you off on the baked beans under the circumstances as well.
I put it on my Instagram stories the other day, and it's just like, well, that's what I got. And people are like, what the fuck is that? And I'm like, oh, sorry, I swore. But I was just like, and that's all I've got in the kitchen. Do you know what I mean? I had nothing else, because obviously I got rid of everything that was in my cupboards. I used over lockdown, and I bought this stupid amount of baked beans, tin baked beans before lockdown. Thought, well, worst comes to worst, beans are always handy in there. And I had some pasta left over. I just shoved it all in and just had it. Happy days.
Oh, awesome.
Simple cooking. It did the trick.
Oh, definitely.
The funny thing is, though, when it comes to Instagram or Facebook and stuff like that, then it's always, we found, when you do these silly, simple recipes, that's when all of a sudden, they go off the hook, and everyone's liking it. It's like, this is the laziest thing I've done.
Yeah, I mean, last night I did just a basic tomato sauce and pasta. And it's just, yeah, and I found Gochujang paste. That's something I've learned over lockdown. I don't know if you've heard of Gochujang paste, but it's fermented chili paste. Oh man, it is so good. Put that into your tomato, just a basic tomato sauce, obviously fresh tomatoes, tinned tomatoes, tomato puree, and some gochujang paste and stuff, with obviously plenty of garlic, and it just doesn't lift the sauce and gives it a nice little kick as well. Delicious.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, awesome. That sounds good. Definitely, we'll give it a go. So, I mean, you hold the title for, well, not only the first ever vegan cooking show on the BBC, but actually in the UK, I believe, which is pretty it's pretty dang good going. How did it come about? You know, like how the hell do you get on mainstream BBC TV with the vegan cooking show? You know, did the BBC approach you, or did you take your YouTube channel, you know, to them, or just want to take it further?
I don't know. It's mental, man. When I think about it, it didn't go on mainstream BBC. It was BBC Wales, so it was the first. It was the first vegan cooking show on British TV. I know the guys from Bosch. They're doing one on ITV now, which is brilliant, because you know it's putting vegan food out to the masses and showing people how good and nutritious and easy vegan food is to make, and pushing the vegan word as well. And you know they've been selling loads of books, which is good. But it was just I just met up with my mate Scott Carey. He organised a meeting with his uncle, Julian Carey, who was the commissioner for BBC Wales, and then hooked me up with a production company in Bristol. And one thing led to another. He commissioned it, and we just went out and started filming. You know, it was a big change for me, because I hadn't done TV for a long time since Sanchez, so my confidence wasn't at its very best, and it was new for the production company as well, because they had never filmed a cooking TV show before. So we were sort of like filming and we were all learning, and it was really interesting to film. I had fun filming it, and to present, because I was presenting. I was met a presenter, for God's sake. You know, this is the guy who was shoving drumsticks up his ass and smashing bottles on his head. So from going from that to present to the TV show was a big jump, but I enjoyed it, and you know the finished product was good, and everyone, you know, it was quite, because at the time we got the green lights. We were filming for that, and then we were doing the Wildman to Iron Man, which was the story, my documentary of how I doing the first person to do the triathlon across Wales. So I had to try and train for that whilst filming Dirty Vegan. And then they said we've got the green light for a book, and I'm like, hang on a minute, man, I've got where do I sleep? Because we were doing like 12-hour days filming Dirty Vegan. So they said, oh, look, just use your recipes you've done on YouTube. And I said, well, yeah, but I just cook with my eye. If I'm making a book, everything's got to be measured, this, that, that. So it was a crazy time with not much sleep, a lot of hard work, but it was worth it. And it came out, and yeah, everyone enjoyed it. The book did really well, and yeah, it was good, man. Happy days.
Brilliant. Definitely, yeah.
Oh, yeah. From what we've been able to watch of it, because of course being out of the UK, they won't let us watch it on the iPlayer and stuff like that. But from what we've been able to see, it's absolutely
wonderful. Have you got VPN?
No, I need to get one. Then I can.
Yeah, if you get VPN.
What's one of those then?
It's basically it makes your internet connection seem like it's from somewhere else. So then then you can novel these sorts of things.
That would be awesome.
Yeah,
because we had the same.
Because my mate's in LA, and he got VPN, so he can watch Dirty Vegan over there.
Yeah,
that's what we need to do. That's what we need to
technology.
Do. I only just discovered Zoom in lockdown. This is where this all came about.
I think a lot of people discovered Zoom in lockdown as well. But I'm just at the moment I'm literally just launching. I'm rebranding all my YouTube channel and everything. So we're in the process of doing that now, and hopefully it's going to be my vlog, my cooking, and all that kind of stuff. And it should be out in a few months' time.
Oh, so brilliant!
That's what I'm concentrating on at the moment.
Awesome.
Oh, look out for it. Definitely.
For our viewers though who haven't seen the show, you know. You take veganism to the masses, and you get catering for all these different groups, like you do wedding, the Cardiff Devils ice hockey team, the Women's Institute. They must have been like a real tough crowd, I would have thought. Was there anyone who really presented like the biggest sort of challenge?
The Women's Institute were the best. I absolutely loved them. I got on with them like a house on fire. We had so much fun. They were so welcoming as well. I just had a laugh with them. I really like older people. I get on with them, and I was quite happy to spend the week with them, and we just had it was just a laugh. And the wedding one was just the hardest. That was the hardest one, but the most satisfying, because there was so much hard work, and we had the Laura and them from Tidy Kitchen that were working behind the scenes with me as well, obviously, because I couldn't just do a whole bloody buffet on my own for a big wedding. So they've been a big help throughout the whole filming of Dirty Vegan, and great family as well to work with. So we got the spread on, and there's a lot of non-vegans at this wedding, and I thought, oh Jesus, that's stressful. I hope they fucking like that. But everyone genuinely really enjoyed the food, and a buffet takes a long time because there's so many different things that you've got to do. I mean, if it was just one main meal, simple, but then there was so many stuff. Then we managed to get it all out. Everyone was really happy. I got to have a few beers with the bride and groom and everyone and all that kind of stuff. And at the end of it, it was quite emotional actually, because I was doing my bit to camera, and I got quite emotional because it was just nice to see so many people happy on the food, and all the work that everyone and the team put into it was good. So it was it was a good feeling. And doing the ice hockey was just a laugh, and you're surrounded by the boys. They're going to take a piss out of you, you take a piss out of them, you go on the ice hockey, start ragging you around a bit. That was a good laugh. But every single person I hooked up with was amazing. It was good. And I especially like going to see Ruth and them at the Cardiff Met. And they would teach me all about the food science of the vegan food science and everything. So I'd have a laugh with them lot as well.
Yeah, definitely.
But I think the whole show was based about, I just wanted the whole show to be fun, interesting, and knowledgeable as well. So people come away smiling, and obviously with a bit of education as well. So, and I think that came across, which is good.
Definitely. It's that balance word coming again, isn't it? You got the food, you got the element of fun, but you've got the facts there as well with your nutritional scientists and everything. So help sort of explain that food science and validate the health benefits and all of that. So and they were all on board with you promoting the vegan diet, the nutritionists and stuff.
Yeah, they were all. It was good. It was good to go and see them because they know their food. I mean, it's Cardiff Met. At the end of the day, they're there. The teachers, that's what their job is, to teach you about food and what goes into it. And I learned a lot from them, that's why I enjoyed going there, because I learned so much from them. And it was I always came away with I achieved something. I learned something new every time we went to see them. And of course, we did like fun little tests as well of using these machines, me being me going, whoa, I'm like a little kid, I am. I mean, I'm maybe 47, but I'm like a little kid. I was like, oh, what's this? What's that? Constantly questioning everything. But it's good to learn. It's just good to learn that. Well, you're always learning. Every day's a school day, isn't it? And the day that you think it's not a school day, then you've lost it, man.
Well, especially when it comes to food, because we eat 3 times a day, most of us. So, it's something that's such a fundamental part of our life, and learning more about it, how can that not be fun? It's something that's key to us. And so having that sort of science back, and do you feel that was something that was key to making the show as successful as it was? Yeah,
because I think a lot of people, when it comes to vegan food, a lot of people are not very familiar with it, and they don't know the science that goes behind it, like seitan, and like, well, what's in seitan? Well, why has it got that texture? All that kind of stuff. So I think it was important, because a lot of veganism's new to many people, and like myself and you, when you turned vegan, you didn't know what the hell you were doing. So to put it on TV and to explain to people what's in our food and how we make it, I think is really important. And I think it helps others with their change from being a meat and dairy, you're consuming meat and dairy foods, to becoming a vegan. So hopefully, the 2 episodes that we've done, you know, it helped a lot of people make the change to veganism.
Yeah, definitely. It sounds like you've got the right approach, which I think is one of the things that makes people enjoy what you do so much, because it's so relatable. And like with us, like you say, when we first went vegan, we didn't really know what the hell we were doing. We were in Southland. We were in Gore, like right down the bottom of the country, pretty much surrounded by sheep farms. And you know, we didn't know what we were doing. And yeah, everyone that was around us were like, oh God, what are these 2 up to now? You know, and the local sheep farmer would come and see us every day, and he'd give us so much stick, you know. But we realized that, you know, we weren't going to be, I think people expected us to be angry, to be serious, and we weren't. We're just like, you know, you can laugh at us if you want, but, you know, we can laugh at us too. And it was, you know, through being sort of easygoing about it that we ended up opening conversations. And you know, and now we still laugh about it, don't we? I mean, it's not, you know, if he's mowing the lawns on his tractor, if we happen to be down in Southland, you know, he'll come up with a trailer full of grass clippings and say, I bought your lunch, you know, and all that kind of stuff. So but yeah, like that's one of the things that we love about you, is that, you know, you're just so chilled out in your approach, and, you know, you tell things as they are in interviews. You don't sugarcoat them, but at the same time, you know, you don't come across as preachy. And how important is that to you, you know, coming across as and not being a preachy vegan?
Look, if you want to be a preachy vegan, happy days. You know, I've got no problems about it. That's you. And if you want, and the activists and all the work they do, I mean, they're all doing something really good for veganism, although a lot of people will disagree. But for me, I find that if you don't try and force it on people, people question and ask you more, and they find more, and they're more interested. Because at the end of the day, people always say, "Oh fuck, how do you know somebody's a vegan?" Or they'll tell you, and blah blah blah. Just look at it. I mean, I put stuff on social before. I don't really put much stuff on social, which is sort of preaching. Once in a blue moon I might, and as soon as I do, it's just the inevitable happens. I just get an onslaught of just comments. So that's why I tend not to bother. Let the food that I cook and the stuff that I do with my fitness and my endurance do the talking, really. And I think it has over the years, because a lot of people are like, well, how the fuck can you do 10? Oh, sorry, I swore again. How the hell can you do 10 Ironmen in 10 days on a vegan diet? Well, I said, well, I've done it, and I've been to the doctors. I've had my tests. I'm not deficient in B12. I haven't got protein deficiency. I'm still alive. I'm still breathing, and I'm fit. I'm far fitter than somebody who eats dairy and meat. And hopefully people can see that. And that's all you need, really. And another thing that comes into my mind is weird, isn't it? Because you take a classroom of children to go and see how lettuce and tomatoes and everything are made, but you won't take them to a slaughterhouse to show them how your steak was made. Why? Because as soon as they see it, they'll cry their eyes out and they'll never want to eat steak again. And that's so true, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like, if I was a kid, that's the last thing I'd want to do is go to a slaughterhouse. But that's the truth. That's where your food comes from. And if you don't like it, don't eat it. And I think there's a lot of cognitive dissonance when it comes to stuff like that as well. A lot of people hate to see animals being killed, but yet they'll go to a supermarket and buy a steak nicely packaged in plastic packaging and made to look nice. But then if you had the TV next to it showing you how that steak was made, people will think twice. So there you go. I'm starting to preach a bit now, aren't
I? Good on you, boy.
But I'm just sort of trying to put it into perspective, really, without being a knob.
Oh no, definitely, it's so true. Like, it's yeah, absolutely.
Well, big part of this series is to, highlight how people can be doing their part for the vegan movement, which isn't necessarily one form of activism or the other, and like in your case, you're proving people wrong with the athletic sort of prowess, and then with the cooking as well. And, we're all different cogs of the machine, and you've got your other street outreach, which is another part. And yeah, we each do our own, which we're best at. Even when we're talking to Joey Carbstrong, he was saying about, find your strength and run with it. But I got to ask, like, have you seen much of an activist scene like around Wales? Because for me, growing up in Bulch, which is like a tiny village between Brecon and Crickhowell there, I could never imagine seeing like a cube or anything around there. Is there much of a scene there in Wales?
What, the vegan scene?
Well, yeah, with the activism and outreach and stuff.
I think there is, yeah. I mean, I think they went to a farm in Wales. I can't remember what it was because I did the voiceover for it, and I think it was West Wales actually. They went to a sheep farm and they showed that secret footage of. Sorry, somebody's trying to phone me. Somebody's trying to phone me there. They went, yeah. They said they had secret footage of they were treating sheep. Oh man, it was just shocking. But when it comes to, like I said, I don't do much preaching at all on socials. But until I put my second book on Facebook, and obviously I paid to sponsor it. It was Veganuary this year, so I didn't put any. There was no words of preaching or nothing. It was just like, look, here's a book, you're Veganuary. If you do a Veganuary, there's some great recipes, easy recipes to follow. Happy days. If you want to buy it, go and buy it. And the onslaught of abuse I got from Welsh farmers was pretty shocking. I mean, I didn't have a go at them at all. They've been advertising their goods for many years, with their meat, the dairy and stuff. I didn't attack them, but they went in on me so much. I just couldn't believe it. Yeah, so much so they started deleting their comments in the end. I think the dad had a word with them. But they may have deleted their comments, but I screenshotted every single one of them. So yeah, but it's just the world we live in, I suppose.
Yeah, it's so ironic though, isn't it, that they don't force your beliefs on me, but then you do something that isn't remotely targeted at them and they jump on it, and it's that's exactly
what happened. I didn't attack them one bit. They attacked me. So but hey, keep smiling. Happy days. Chickpeas forever.
Yeah. Go and peel some chickpeas if you got a problem with me.
I'll just go and sit in the garden and start crying and eating my lettuces with my weak arms.
So your weak arms. Now I heard you say just before that you've got a vegan. Well, when you did your first events and as a vegan, and so you've got a vegan restaurant just 5 minutes down the road from you. So it's not a case of being the only vegan in the village then.
Now, I mean, I live in Cardiff, cosmopolitan Cardiff. There's plenty of vegans. Well, there's a lot of vegan restaurants, cafes that have popped up in Cardiff now. There's Anna Local, which is just down the road. When I was on about 100% vegan, run by Adam, who is Hare Krishna, and the food in there is absolutely spot on. And then you've got Greasy Vegan in Cardiff City Centre, which is like vegan junk food. They got the Big Mac, which unbelievably tastes like a Big Mac, but it's not. And they got like vegan kebabs, all that kind of stuff, really good. And there's an Atma as well, which is another. There's so many great vegan places, and there's a Vietnamese restaurant called Pho, I think it's called, in town, which I love. Vietnamese pho is just it's so banging, refreshing, and it's amazing. But all I hope is after this COVID and this virus and the lockdown, that these places can, I hope they don't get wiped out, and I hope they will be able to continue to trade, because some of the sanctions that are being brought in with distancing and stuff in restaurants won't make it financially viable for them to keep their doors open. So fingers crossed the government can see this and they help them, and we can continue to have decent vegan restaurants in Cardiff and worldwide.
Yeah, well, here in New Zealand, we've gone back to sort of level 1, although we've got cases popping up again. We've seen quite a few of our friends who have vegan food businesses. They've had to innovate. They've done things differently, and now now they're hopefully starting to spring back up more. And I think us vegans are going to do well because we're eating the right food, so our brains switched on. So hopefully, we're going to be thinking outside the box, and pushing our damn veggies on them more.
And there's been so much support.
But the thing is, if the vegan restaurants are closed, at least we can go to a field and just nosh on the grass.
Yeah,
definitely. Hey, in every interview, you always get asked, what's your craziest stunt or the wildest thing that you've done? Being on the road and that kind of thing. So we want to ask you, it's a bit of a contrast. What has been your wildest vegan moment? Have there been any crazy or weird encounters since doing the Dirty Vegan show? Or book, or all of it?
Wildest vegan moment? I don't think I've had a wildest vegan moment. I haven't shoved a carrot up my ass yet. No, I don't think I've had a wildest vegan moment, to be honest with you. No, it's just apart from burning my fingers, cooking or something, or cutting my fingers, cutting radishes. I don't know. I haven't got a clue. But no, I haven't had one. I might have actually, but it's not fresh in my head.
Oh, no worries. We thought we'd just ask you something a bit different, so it's not like all the others. But I was going to ask as well. You recently came a cropper while skating in Dubai. How's the back healing up?
That's a classic case of 47-year-old man with a 25-year-old brain thinks he can still do what he used to do when he was our age. Don't get me, my back's fine now, but I was enjoying it so much, me, Daint, and the 40s crew and stuff. We had just the best skate parks. The weather was obviously perfect that time of year in Dubai. There's just the best skate parks everywhere, and I got so excited. I was like, wow. And I hadn't skated for a long time, and it was just like, I felt young. I felt like back in the day, young again, skating, and I just saw this thing. I thought, yeah, I can do it. And I leant back too much and crack on my back. And I was in so much agony. But then that was on day 2, so that ruined the whole week. And of course, they were all still skateboarding, so I had to keep going to these unreal parks and sit there and watch everyone skate while I just sat there. And I couldn't just sit there and enjoy a beer because it was Dubai. So it's just, I don't know, just really sat there and it drilled my mind. I was just like, I really want to do this. I want to do this trick on that trick and this. And I thought, my back's really bad here. But I waited until I got home and I got the x-ray. And doctor said he couldn't see anything. And then they called me up then. They said, oh, can you come in? We found that I'd fractured my back, top of my back. And I was like, oh, shit. So he said, right, you're going to have 6 months off, not skateboarding or training or anything. And when I can't keep fit, my head starts going a little bit south. So I drank quite a bit and I ate a lot of shit food and just went to a bit of it wasn't too bad. It was all good, but I put on 1.5 stone. A stone and a half. I'm normally 14 stone. I was 15.5 stone. I kept looking down at my bellies going, whoa, man, what's happened to me? I just looked like a proper 47-year-old man. And anyway, doctor said, end of March, you can start training again. And I'd ordered a watt bike in January. And then lockdown happened. And it was just the perfect storm, really. The watt bike turned up just as I was about to start training again. So anyway, spent the whole lockdown training. I'm all good, and I'm sort of almost fit again, and I've lost a stone in weight.
Oh, brilliant. So glad to hear in the men.
So my stomach has gone right down.
Always a positive to everything. So,
yeah, of course, yeah.
Accidents aside, and hopefully they are well behind you now, but I mean, you know, up until then, you've been an absolute brilliant example of just how beneficial a vegan lifestyle can be. So, I mean, you've done triple Ironmans, you've done a Deca. I mean, for anyone that doesn't know, a Deca entails swimming, 24 miles, cycling 1,100 miles, and running 262 miles. Back in the day, in 2011, I did a marathon. I've been there, done that when I was still eating meat. And I tell you what, I was still overweight, running a marathon, going, yay, you know, with bulging here, there, and everywhere. I'd love to do one now, but I couldn't run to the mailbox. But, you know, it's insane what you've proven that you can do and do so well. I can't imagine there are too many challenges left for you to do, but, you know, is there anything that the brain still keeps saying, I might do that one day? Anything sort of in the pipeline, or are you quite happy going along on your bike at the moment?
Well, I was meant to be doing the brutal Quinn, which is going to be in September, which is 5 Ironman in 5 days in Snowdonia. So the elevation of the bike was just something that I think would be the equivalent of Everest 1.5 times, blah blah blah. But obviously everything's been cancelled this year, so at the moment I'm just running and cycling and swimming just for the love of doing it. But as for challenges, I think I will constantly challenge myself. It's what it gives me a focus, gives me a goal. I know I've done the Deca. I'd like to do a double Deca. If I'm honest, I'd like to do as many Ironmen consecutively, as many as I could possibly humanly do. How many that is, I don't know, without being injured or whatever. But I suppose there's only one way to find out, and that's.
I was so glad you said that. I raised my children with that catchphrase. There's only one way to find out, Mark.
There's only one way to find out, Mark. Give us a 10 out of 10. That was an 8. That was, Mark.
Love it.
But yeah, I mean, I've got loads of ideas in my head, stuff I want to do, and challenge-wise or fitness-wise. But for the time being, I think let's just get this virus out of the way, and let's get this YouTube channel started, and and then I'm just keep trucking and keep rocking.
Thank you for watching this episode. If you would like to support our speaker, then follow the links provided in the description. If you're enjoying this content, then please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Leave a like on some of our videos and drop some comments with the things that you've been learning from this series. We really appreciate all your love and support, and we can't wait to bring you the next episode. Thank you.
Lemmy, come and say goodbye. Come here. Oh. Let me say goodbye.
Oh, there he is. Oh, beautiful boy. Isn't you gorgeous? Hey.
Well, that's a goodbye from Lemmy as well. Thanks, guys.